right, problem number 6, the square. So step 1 is we're going to go open title block. And this is the first thing we do for all drawings. We open up the title block, everything's going to be drawn into. Hop on over to model space, do a quick save as, and save it to the ACAD folder. I'm going to call it problem 6 squares. Yes, there's nothing in there. And then you could check your dim style, you can check your units, all that stuff here, but if you're using the title block that I've given you and you haven't messed anything up or changed it up, everything's good. If you're not sure if something's been set correctly, you go here to go to drawing units to check your settings, your drawing properties, etc. You can type in dim style. I know it kind of sounds like a Chinese food, but that's how you go in, and you can go check your dimension styles to make sure everything's set by layer and it's 0.125 and the angles and all that. And this is where you could change your units. So let's say you have a drawing that needs to go all the way down to thousands instead of hundreds. You can change it here. And then once you get it done, you just hit Start Card. So all that's here. First thing we're going to do, let's go change it to visible and let's draw some squares. So we're going to look at this problem, and if you look at it, it can be a little confusing at first. But to be brutally honest, we're starting off with 2 squares. Our first square is 2.5 and our second square is 3.54. So let's just draw a rectangle. Use the rectangle tool even though it's a square. Alright, so I'm going to pick a starting point anywhere. I'm going to tell it D for dimension, and I'm going to tell it 2.5 by 2.5 so that I get the square that I want. And now I'm going to offset that 0.25. Oh, it escaped. Sometimes you do something weird and you want to find out where it's at. And if you think you've screwed something up, just do the undo. Control Z. Zoom extents. Okay, I lost it. Well, not that big of a deal. Starting point D, enter. There you go. And put it on that visible layer. And I just zoom in using my scroll wheel and my mouse. Offset 0.25. Let's try it again. Now, because we haven't exploded it and we drew it as a polygon, as a rectangle, they're going to be linked together. So it makes it a lot easier for me to simply offset. I don't have to do any extending or trimming. I just offset it to the inside until I build, I guess you could call it almost like an infinity square. Okay, good. Let's draw our next square. Polygon tool again. I'm going to pick the lower left-hand corner of the first square. I'm going to tell it dimension again, and I'm going to type in the size. Move my mouse and click. And again, it's on the wrong layer because I haven't changed it to visible. Somehow I got off that layer. There we go. Cancel. I don't want to just change the color. I want to make sure that I'm going to the visible layer. Now, this is where students get a little upset. They're not quite sure. We want to rotate it. So we're going to go to the rotate command, and I'm going to pick the square, and I'm going to hit enter because, again, tell it what we want it to do, tell it what I want it to do it to, and now what are we going to do next? Well, next it tells me what am I going to do. I'm rotating it. So once I select all the objects, you hit enter, then it asks where's your base point, so bottom left-hand corner, and then it's going to ask you what's your angle. Angle is 45. Enter key. Now here's another one where students have a tendency, they're like, oh my god, how do I move it? How do I get it where I need to go? Okay, hello. There's a command line right here called move. Again, repeat the process. Tell it what you want to do, select the object, hit enter. Pay close attention again to those snaps because we want to find the very central or the midpoint of that line, and we're going to move it over to this corner here. So all I had to do was use my snap tool. All right. Now let's draw lines from the tip top corner here down, tip top corner here, and over. Just pay attention to your snaps. Make sure you're snapping from the intersection to the midpoint of that line. Okay, I'm going to use my offset tool again, 0.25 again, because if you look on the drawing it says tip. Typical means, well, it means that literally typical. They should all be a 0.25. And so I just offset them all accordingly. Now, can you guess what I'm going to do after I offset? Because I'm not going to show you all of these. I'm going to come back and you'll see they're all there. What do you think that we do? Once you've offsetted it over, you go to your trim, you hit spacebar, and then pick the parts that need to go away. So first you offset, and then you trim. So you're going to do this for all the edges. All right, so now we have it drawn, and I've done my zoom extent so it takes up the full screen. Let's go over to the title block. Again, change your layer to border so that it doesn't interfere with it. We're going to go layout, rectangular, rectangular, corner to corner. Again, left click on it. Once I've got it activated, right click, properties, and we want to go check the scale. And the scale right now is 1.38. We don't want that. We want a 1-to-1 scale. And I'm going to exit out because I no longer need properties. Hit the escape key so I no longer have it selected. If you find that your drawing is not perfectly centered inside of that viewport, the way you fix that is you double left click to activate the viewport. Then you can scroll it around, you can pan it around by using that center scroll wheel and holding your finger down on it to get it centered within the page. Once you're done, double left click to the outside in that gray area and that'll deactivate the viewport. All right, now let's go do some dimensioning because that's really all we have left to do. We're going to dimension. We're going to use some linear and some aligned dimensioning on this one. So I'm going to show you the difference between the two. So we need to do a linear that tells and explains the size for the smaller, come on, I love it when the mouse goes crazy on me. And why is that off? If you'll pay attention here, see where it linked to, so it's off exactly 2.25, so I need to fix that. I just erase it and do it again. It's no big deal. Some of you are probably thinking you wish you could erase your problems when you're drawing them by hand so quickly. There we go. And I repeat the process from our corner to corner. Pull it out. And then I need the little part over here, which has got the tip, which just stands for, again, typical. And you just literally hit the double left click on it with your mouse, put it to the outside, and then just type in the TYP, period. Move your mouse click and adjust it. Now the last thing we need is we need aligned dimensions because we need it to be aligned with that 45-degree angle. How do you do that? Well, you just go pick the aligned tool, you pick your outside corners, and draw it like that. It's just that simple. So just pay attention to whatever kind of annotation dimensioning you need to do, and you just pick the right annotation tool is all it takes. All right, now you just need to come in and change the title. The title will be a problem 6. Squares, and then you need to change your name, you need to change the date, you need to change the course number, 1, 2, 3, whatever it is. You need to put your professor's name in, and then you need to change the points because the points for this one is 50. Then you repeat that whole process of save as. Always do a save as, even though it should save in the right place, just to make sure it's actually doing it. And then you will file print it, so you'll print it out, you'll give me the hard copy of it, and then you'll log into Blackboard and you'll submit the electronic copy of it. So if I think there's any cheating going on for the drawings, I pull it up, I can run time, I can do a list, I can pull up a list on that one little part and it'll tell me the exact same steps, and I compare each other's steps. Nobody will draw something at the exact same. You might draw the same steps because you're following my exact steps, but they will not be at the exact same time. So there's different ways that I can do to check to make sure there's no cheating going on. You can do this, guys. All right, congratulations, you can do squares.